Hello again. Um, it's another late night. Um, I should be getting to bed, but uh, I don't want to get to bed because if I go to sleep, that means I have to wake up and go to work, and I don't want to go to work. I'd rather sit here and talk to my phone about video games, and so that's what I'm doing right now. Um, Tonight, I thought I would talk about video games that I played when I was a child that kind of shaped who I am. I was down here in the basement. I was doing some painting tonight, and I don't know, just started going back in time to video games that I played when I was a child that were very important to me, that are very important to me to this day, and felt like talking about it. So here we go. Um, I just jotted down a handful of games from the SNES era that I wanted to just chat about. Um, there were games on like the NES that I played, and also probably the Commodore 64, which that's probably a whole other topic. Um, my family had a Commodore 64 for some reason, um, and that was kind of like really my first introduction to video games. And again, I won't go into that tonight, but I just wanted to cover a couple SNES games because that was like in my teenage years is when it really became a uh, big deal to me. And again, I'm gonna just probably go over some of these games kind of briefly. I feel like each of these games I could probably, you know, go into more depth about. Um, but let's just go over a couple of them. What's the first game I got to mention is The Secret of Mana. The Secret of Mana is, I would think, is probably the most important game in my childhood. Um, Boy, the game was just so important to me. Um, my friend Dirk Hootmacher, I believe, got me into playing RPGs because I did not understand them. Um, like in my video game, he would bring over these RPGs and he would let me borrow them and stuff. Like, what a good friend! Let me borrow let his cartridge of like Secret of Mana or something like that. Um, but he got me into RPGs, and at first I did not understand them. Yeah, I remember playing like uh, he kind of like showed me how to play these games because I guess they were just different from the games that I was playing, which I don't even remember what they were. But he would come over, he would bring his RPGs over to my house and play them with me like the first like couple hours of a game or something, and kind of show me how to play it. And I was like, wow, okay, this is different than what how I've seen games. But he shared that joy of this genre with me, and I started to understand how to play Secret of Mana. It had a weird battle system. You had to like wait for your thing to charge up, and then you could attack again. Um, and so he kind of showed me the mechanics of it, and then I got my own copy of that game, and I played it all the way to the end. And it's funny because I have kind of revisited it as an adult, and it's weird, it's clunky, there's some points that make you want to like quit the game. Um, but when I was a teenager, I played Secret of Mana all the way to the end. I beat the game, and then after I beat the game, I didn't want to stop. I leveled all three of my characters to level 99. I got every spell, I got every weapon skill maxed out to level 8 or whatever the max is. I played that game until you could not play it anymore. It was like the ultimate fantasy, and again, like escapism is like my main appeal in like video games and stuff, man, my brain was just, I existed in that game. It had a flying dragon you could ride on. The music was so amazing. Um, the there was magic, all these different like elements of magic. You had like the main character was this young boy, and there was a cute like blonde-haired girl with a pigtail that I had a crush on at the time. And then there was this other like sprite that I thought it was a girl, but I think it's a boy character. I can't remember right now. Um, Man, the game was so good, and the music in these early games. And I don't even know how many I'll get to right now. Like when like these stories, like the graphics were like pixelated and stuff, and but like the music was so much at a higher level than the actual like graphics or gameplay even. Like the music of those early SNES games was so good that it would cover up the quality of like gameplay and graphics at that time. You know, you would be playing the game and the music would take you to another place, and you would experience the true fantasy of playing those games, because the music, even on the SNES, was just, I mean, I don't care what people say. I think the SNES RPGs music of that era is on an elite level. Like I was listening to Chopin piano tonight when I was painting. I consider the soundtrack for Secret of Mana on the level of Frédéric Chopin. Like that's just how it is. That's my opinion. Um, and um, that game was just so I just my brain lived in that game, and it just opened my thoughts to fantasy and dragons and flying and just, I don't know, I just spent so much time existing and thinking in that world. And like I said, I played it till you couldn't play it no more. um, there was no reason to level your characters to 99. You know what I mean? I think I beat the game probably in the level 60s, but I just wanted to keep playing because I just loved the sound and the music and everything. Um, so yeah, Secret of Mana is probably like just one of my all-time favorite games. It shaped so much of who I am. Um, and we're already 8 minutes into. Like I said, I could just blab about that game for so long. Let me talk about a couple more games. Um, the Final Fantasy series. I played again. I think I played the first one was on the NES, right? I played Final Fantasy on NES. I when I played it, I don't know what age I was. I did not understand. I didn't quite understand what to do. I think I took like a bunch of different, you pick the different classes for your characters, and I went out and I was just getting my ass handed to me. And I remember I couldn't get very far, and so like I quit the game. I restarted it, and I created like a thing of 4 fighters, and I was like able to finally beat the first boss. But I don't think I understood the concept of like leveling up. You probably had to just like have a mixed cast, like a white mage, black mage, fighter, and then grind to get stronger. And then eventually you could probably get past, that's the way to probably play that game. But at the time, I had no patience. I was young. I didn't understand the concept of the game. And I remember I got like 4 fighters. I beat the first boss, and then I was like, I don't know, I don't know what this is. So I never finished the first Final Fantasy game. But again, it was when my buddy brought over Final Fantasy 4. In the States it was 2, but Final Fantasy 4, and boy, that was a magical game, man. He kind of, again, like, kind of showed me how to play it. I was probably older than when the first one came out. And uh, Final Fantasy 4, wow, what a magical game. Like, the story, the characters, the music. Again, music is number one above all else. but the different spells you can cast and the story, and man, that's like Rydia with the green hair and the dragoon, and oh man, Final Fantasy IV is an all-timer. So good. What a great game that is. Traveling to the moon? Dun, 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 dun. Like when the music hits when you're flying in an airship to the moon. Oh my god. I'm like getting goosebumps right now. Holy cow. That is, man, it's the music. It like maybe this is just a essay on how video game music is so important, because when I my memories of Final Fantasy IV is that music when you're in the airship, you're going to the moon and stuff. Holy cow. What an experience. It's just so good. And Final Fantasy VI. Final like I remember I don't know what grade I was in. I was definitely in high school. Man, I wish I knew the details of it. But early high school, Final Fantasy VI came out, and I remember I bought it. Somehow I got it right when it came out, and my friend Dirk got it. And I remember that I went to the next. I played it. I only was able to play it for just maybe an hour, maybe a little hour or two, and I didn't get very far in the game. But it was such an amazing. And I went to school the next day. I was like, Dirk, like, are you playing Final Fantasy VI? 3 at the time. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm already into like these caves, the Narsh caves or something. Oh my god, I'm not there yet. I was just like the intro and the whole experience of Final Fantasy VI. Holy cow, that game is so dark. The game is dark and painful. The samurai's whole family gets poisoned. The the whole world is destroyed. Oh my god, like that story is such a dark story for a teenager to experience. It's just this little cartridge, this NES cartridge. But the music is terrifying. The story is so sad. There's so much heartbreak. Oh man. Like people people who have not played that game don't know. Like the Ghost Train. Oh my god. Final Fantasy 6 is kind of right there. It's on the same level as Secret of Mana, really. Like those were the two games. Um, there's some other games. I don't know how I'm probably not even going to get to all of them, but Final Fantasy VI, like when the whole world is destroyed, and you wake up with Celeste and Sid. I can't the one fellow that's dying. You're trying to feed him fish, and he dies. And Kefka early on is that laugh. Oh my god, the laugh. And then at the end, when you fight him and you're going the final battle with Kefka, and you're going up to another level, and the music, that battle music with Kefka again, Frederic Chopin, the greatest composers of all time, and the end fight scene with Kefka is they are even, they are the same. Oh my god, Final Fantasy VI, what an insane game! So many characters. I know I beat that game more than once because I beat it and I realized I read in like I got the player's guide and I was like, you can save Shadow. Shadow doesn't have to die. I'm gonna play the whole game again because I have to save Shadow because he's one of the greatest characters ever with the little dog and the theme. And again, it's like Shadow's theme, the music. It's so good. Oh boy. Well, I don't know. I'm already at 15 minutes. I don't want to keep blabbing forever. There's a bunch of other games of my youth that I want to talk about, and I'll do that again another night. Um, so I guess tonight is Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy 4 and 6. I mean, that's really the trifecta right there. What else do you need? Maybe Chrono Trigger. We'll see. But man, those games, those were my early teen years, and that got me into gaming, into fantasy, into music. Again, it just it those games so shaped who I am even today at 44. That's how old I am. Whoops. But man, they're great. I mean, even today I just love to talk about them, reminisce about them, throw on the soundtrack for them. So funny how these games made in Japan so long ago are just so important. Um, Hence, I wanted to talk about them tonight. So maybe that's a good point for wrapping this up. I don't know. But yeah, well, I'm going to have to get to bed eventually, I guess. But it was nice to chat with you about these games. Um, if you're watching, did you play any of these games? Did they resonate with you as a child? I don't know. Uh, Leave me a comment. I'd love to continue to chat more about these games, obviously. So that's it for now. Have a good night. Take care.